Okay, welcome everybody. This is CSIS-3020, Web Programming and Design. This is week 6, first video lecture. You guys have to finish your static website in 2 weeks. So far, you've built, I'll say probably 40 to 50% of it, or should have. And I'm talking about the students that turn in meaningful web pages. Those that turn in the About Us, Contact Us, Login, you have a lot more work to do. These relate to each other. So what's next? Next week, you guys are supposed to improve anything that I'm going to be giving you feedback on the next few days on those 4 pages that you turn in tonight. Okay? So notice that I'm giving you points so you get it right every week. If there's something wrong, if you fell behind on something, I let you know, I give you feedback on it, and I give you another chance to submit it right. Also, tonight, if you guys take a look at the video lectures from last year, I'm covering absolutely the rest of the JavaScript theory. That includes chapters 12, 13, and 14. Okay? That's it. That's all you need to know about JavaScript. At this point, you are ready to create your own JavaScript menus. So go out there, and I asked you to do this last week. Go out there and look for cool JavaScript menus that you would like to implement on your website. Download the code if you want, or create it yourself. Create it yourself, typically it's a lot of work. Download somebody else's code is less work, but you have to know JavaScript very well, because you have to be able to customize it to your own needs. Okay? I don't care if it's the top menu, the left-hand side menu, or the right-hand side menu, but any one of those menus has to be a JavaScript menu. Okay? And remember, all pages must be reachable from these menus. You gotta create also a wiki page called Functional Requirements. In this page, you will put a list of 10 functional requirements that you are going to implement on your website. And I don't want you to be repeating them. I don't want you to put, functional requirement number 5 is going to be authentication, and functional requirement number 9 is going to be login, because they're one and the same. Eventually, you will notice that each one of these functional requirements will be represented by a web page. A web page out of which you have already created 4. How many total? By the 8th week, 10. You will have to create 10 web pages, each one representing one functional requirement. And I'm going to go through Timex functional requirements with you, so you understand what I mean by that. Always, when you're in doubt, go back to my wiki. Take a look at how I did mine, what kind of functional requirements I'm building. Take a look at my UML diagram to give you ideas of how relationships are between the entities. I'm doing exactly the same thing in class that you guys are doing out of class and turning in every week. Yes, irrelevant web pages like About Us and Contact Us are not considered part of this list. And most importantly, all pages should have the same look and feel. I don't want a page with a dangling image or an odd looking page compared to the rest of them. And make sure that you have the right hierarchy, which means all your HTML pages should be on your root, and you should have subfolders called images, where you store all the images, style sheets, where you store all your CSS, and JavaScript, where you store all your JS. Are there any questions? Okay. That's what's due on the 7th week. So guess what? The following week, you're going to have to turn in the rest of the 6 pages. So, if you're already ahead of the game, if you already have in your website a JavaScript menu, don't lay back and sit down and relax. No. Go ahead and start building your other web pages, because by the 8th week, you guys are supposed to turn in a fully built static website of 10 pages with JavaScript menus. Okay? So that's why it's very important this week that you guys think about the 10 functional requirements that you're going to be building, because that's going to determine what web pages you're going to have to submit. Because there's a student that is doing a survey website actually. So what you want is a rating JavaScript example or widget. Something like this. See that? 1 star, 2 stars, 2.5 stars, 3, 4, 5 stars. See that? So you have Star Trek. Okay. You want your users to rate this Star Trek movie. So only the users that have authenticated, right, they have logged in, should be able to do that. And what you want to do is you want to save their ratings for a particular movie. So when you are showing the details of the movie, you are providing to the users that are logged in, you are providing this widget. It's a really nice widget. It's a JavaScript widget. And look at this. You can actually this is an example of how to use it in the HTML, and this is the actual code. This is the CSS, and this is the actual JavaScript code. You can copy it, download it, customize it to your web. Right? Now, why can you do that? Because you know already HTML, you know already getting style sheets, and you already know JavaScript. Okay? And this is the example. Does that answer your question? Okay. There is so much stuff out there that it's really pointless to recreate the wheel. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you. Okay? You have to know the basics and then go out there and leverage from what has been created and adapt it to your needs. That's the way to develop 90% of the time out there. When you graduate and you find a job with a company, that's what you're going to end up doing. Very few employers will expect you to do this stuff from scratch. But you have to understand it. You have to be able to look at it and figure out what is it doing and how to modify it. This is the thing. I ask you to turn in on the second week a problem statement. It's a 5,000 mile level description of what you're going to be building, right? This is it. Then I ask you 1 or 2 weeks later to highlight the nouns, because the nouns are going to reveal the entities, the guys that are going to be involved in your system, right? To highlight them all and create a list of them. And then for tonight, you guys were supposed to turn in a model, a domain model with those entities. Now, if you look at mine, I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 nouns. But not all of them make it as a main entity. Why? Because they're either repeated, like time and hours, it's one and the same, or reminder notifications are one and the same. And sometimes those nouns are just properties, attributes of a bigger entity. For instance, hours or time is an attribute of a timesheet. It's part of the timesheet. Status is an attribute of a timesheet. So they are not their own entity. And this is what I was expecting you guys to, the thought process that I wanted you to get at, so you could produce a domain model like this. Eventually, I'm going to come up with a domain model, second version, that will have an employee, a timesheet, and a department. That's it. Status will be part of the timesheet. Time will be part of the timesheet. And I should be adding a reminder. The reminder is its own entity. So, given that thought process of going through the nouns, and I remember telling you about this last week or a couple of weeks ago. When you go through the nouns, you actually realize, wait a minute, I cannot really identify a thingy or a part of my system. So you have to actually put the time to think about what that thingy or part of the system is going to be. Give it a real name. And make it part of your problem statement. And that's how you refine it. This problem statement is already refined. But you guys created one from scratch that most of them, if not all, needed refinement. Now, once you have your problems, your list of entities nailed down and your domain model, right? Then you go back to that problem statement and start thinking about useful functions, services that you're going to provide to your users in your website. Notice what I said, useful services. For instance, registration is a useful service that you have to provide. If you don't provide a way for your users to give you their information, there's no sense in authenticating them. So registration is a useful service. And you have to come up with a list of 10. And each one is called a functional requirement. So for next week, you guys are going to be providing a list of 10 functional requirements. And these 10 functional requirements will be 1 or 2 sentences long describing that service. And then at the end of that 1 or 2 sentences, you're going to provide me a snapshot of that page. Now that snapshot is no different than one of the UI sketches that you have been providing me. At this point, I should have, or each one of you should have, 4 UI sketches done. Home page, secondary page, third page, registration page. Okay? So let's take a look at the functional requirements for Timex. For instance, number 1, employees should be able to sign in, authenticate, sign in to the web application once or more each week. You want to see what that looks like? You click on login, and here it is. This is what it looks like. This is version 1. This is my latest version, version 2. Login or authentication is one of the functional requirements. Another example is employees should be able to get a list of timesheets submitted in the past. If it has been submitted or approved, they cannot modify it. And it has been not been submitted or rejected, they can modify it. And this is what it looks like. Okay? So the ones that have been accepted, those are the ones with the A's. When I click in that link, I should not be able to modify it. But the S, which is the one submitted, I'm sorry, P for pending, I should be able to modify it because it's still pending. Okay? An employee must be able to register in the system before logging for the first time. 10 pieces of information should be asked. Okay? And then you create a page that shows me your registration. And then you keep adding meaningful services. And depends on the subject or the theme that you selected, those services will be different. You will see a full 10 functional requirements by the end of, if not tonight, tomorrow morning. So you guys can take a look at mine. No questions?